All right, so in today's video, I'm going to show you how to monitor for brand mentions and keywords in various subreddit groups and use AI on that post text that we find with Clay. Here's how. So you're going to create a new table, and we're going to actually create a new custom signal down here. Now, what we're going to do is look for the Reddit signal, find mentions on Reddit. Once you do, select your API key. You're going to probably have to log in, and I want to monitor the mentions of Clay. And I want to check for various groups. And so I might check for SaaS, maybe marketing, maybe another one called Starter Story, which is kind of niche. Time period, I'm going to select all time, and max number of results will be blank because the default is 250. And then I'll click next. You can choose your frequency here. So you can actually do daily. So it'll pull in results every single day for mentions of your company. And as you can see in the preview window, this is pretty cool. You can actually see some results before you actually press run on this. So these are all people mentioning Clay in these groups. And in this next step, you can actually choose follow-up actions. In this case, I'm leaving blank, but you can send Slack messages and updates whenever somebody mentions your company name. Save and run. Always run 10. And what I personally like to do is actually highlight these in yellow as inputs, so it's easier to notice what's going on later. Within every single object in Clay, they are nested objects. So this means you can drill down into it. And underneath self text, I actually like to call this what it is, which is post text. And this will get added to the table like this. This is actually what people are saying in the post. So I'll make that yellow. And now you can actually see what people are saying. And you can actually click on each of these and it'll load the URL page in Reddit. Great. So the next step here is actually to use some AI on this. So we're going to go ahead and use some AI. You can create a prompt here. Personally, I like to use ChatGPT 4o for most things. And I want to do maybe something like classify this text into one of three buckets. And I'll say, this is the text. I'll dynamically insert the variable of the post text, which is just called post text. And what I want to do is determine one of the three buckets. So maybe bucket one is going to be asking for help on Clay. Maybe step two is giving services related to Clay. Maybe the third one is built a business using Clay. Kind of fun. And then I'll say, and also tell me the sentiment of the post text as either positive or negative. Nothing else. Great. And here in the outputs, you can actually choose how Clay will respond with that data. In this case, the only things I care about is the classification and the sentiment analysis. Save and run for 10 rows. Just to test out results. Personally, I like to make any AI columns green, as you see in many of my tables. And once we get some results back from Claygen here, we can then click into each object and map them to be new columns. I'll show you. You just press add new column on classification in sentiment. And now we can see, in this case, someone is asking for help on Clay. It's a positive sentiment. And maybe someone built a business. Great. Maybe I want to comment on that. Maybe I want to, maybe this was an indication of like spending ads in this subreddit. So this is one way of using custom signals to pull in Reddit mentions of keywords you want to monitor for your brand using Clay. Let me know if you have any questions.